versus over 60 planes. Personally, I disagree. There's a lot more island walk than anything else in the format.
That's very true. So, you got Roger
On the left? Okay.
And you got Casey on the right.
Okay.
This is going to be a good old-fashioned Jeskai mirror.
Another one?
Yep.
I'm actually loving this. The last Jeskai Control mirror that we had was excellent. We only saw the game 3 of the last one.
It's a very close to 75 card mirror.
Now, last time, is Casey the one that has the Kyrinos in the sideboard?
Yes.
Does Roger?
No, he does not.
That was one of the big things that Harry ended up taking the game, but that was a huge X factor because it was a cryptic command that was able to counter an Elspeth and bounce the Kyrinos and then counter it later. But if that hadn't been the exact sequence, that Kyrinos was going to run away with the game. So I think that is going to be a big one as we head into games 2 and 3. But it's going to be a Jeskai mirror. It's going to be a control mirror. This is going to be fun. Start doing a viewer's deck tech. I actually have considered doing that in the past. I could consider myself doing something like that.
I mean, I'm always down to do a deck tech.
Let's head on down to the field. It's time for round 6. We are now approaching the territory of where we might actually be seeing the top 8 form. See you there. Ooh, goodness gracious. Things are already started, so let's break it down real quick. Colonnade untapped. We've got a fetch, which is going to go for a Serum Visions. Looks like this is the beginnings of turn 2, where Casey went turn 1, Serum Visions off of a fetch shock. Woo!
Yeah, both players setting up their draw steps. First person to miss... I mean, the old adage is the first person to miss their land drop loses.
I feel like Siege Rhino fan has done some research on Snohomish. And what our main attractions are.
Yeah.
Tulips and antiques. And Geek Fortress.
Yeah. I think you're a little too far south for the real tulips, but...
I mean, we're like half an hour south of like where the
tulips
are.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Serum Visions here. Both of these players, we've said it before, we've said it, we'll say it again. What is the classic thing for the control match?
Yeah, don't miss your land drop.
Don't miss your land drop. If you're these players, what's the thought process in the early turns? At what point, like, what's the consideration between tapping out for something or leaving up mana?
So the issue is, if you are going to miss a land drop, act on your opponent's turn. Because then they're tapped out, and then you'll be able to slam something important, in this case Teferi or Jace.
I don't think there's a whole lot of Jace in these decks. I could be wrong, but I think these both of these
they're
decks...
both on Teferis?
I think they're both on two
okay.
Teferis.
Well, in that case, you want to have your opponent blink first.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're setting that up, find, efficient counterspells like Logic Knot, and both players, I think, have Negate.
Yep.
So...
Yep, one main board negate for both players, I think.
I think so. And until then, you can set up your mana base. In this case, we're firing off cards that can trip. But Supreme Verdict, obviously not a real card in this matchup right now. I don't think... Yeah, it looks like Casey is not on... he's on 1 Verdict, and I think Roger might be on 2.
Interesting. I wonder if that might be... It's almost curious because I think there's one in Roger's hand currently. And I'll be curious to see at what point do we start to see these small things line up, like each dead card kind of starts mattering and ticking away at this. I do believe both of these are running the Secure the Wastes finisher.
Yep, I think I see 1 secure here and 1 secure there, so both on secure.
Worth noting, by the way, that now that there's land drops missed on the left side of the battlefield, he is switching entirely to being the aggressor.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. If you miss a land drop in the control mirror, you've got to find a way to make this game... be over to make that land drop not
It's
matter.
classic Who's the Beatdown, and if you're not going to be able to play the long game, end the game sooner. So start getting your spells out there, start making them actually come down. I mean, a Bolt Snap Bolt at this stage of the game, not too shabby. It's going to force reaction from Casey.
I don't think Casey has a whole lot of action anyway. I mean, he can Logic Knot this for 3, but...
Classic. I think there's some Snapcaster hands in hand as well. On both sides of this, both of these players pretty happy with those Snapcasters.
And Snapcaster is one heck of a magic card.
It is, isn't it?
Ooh, man.
It is.
So is this going to be Logic Knot?
It's just, I can appreciate a card that lets me cast a bolt twice.
Only you would take one of the best. Only you would take one of the best blue cards ever printed and make it a red card.
So we're gonna take that one down. 2 mana left remaining on Roger's side, and it's gonna be off to.
Does he have a Helix here? Nope. Okay.
Roger's turn. What can we do? Is it time to go for the Teferi against 4 open mana?
I don't think so.
No. So there is another aspect. If you're missing land drops, it means you've got gas in hand.
Yeah. But we see another Snapcaster here. That would explain why Roger doesn't want to try to resolve the Teferi.
Is that 3 path to exile for Casey?
Yep.
Are we willing to call that really good or really bad?
I think I'd be willing to call that really bad.
Is that 2 Helix, 3 path, and 1 bolt? Oh no, that's a Supreme.
A verdict.
So it's 1 Helix, 3 path, 1 bolt from both players, and each of them have a verdict in hand.
I think each of them have a Cryptic as well.
Nice.
Oh.
Path my own Snapcaster?
That is essentially acting like Healing Salve here.
Woo!
Or actually, it is basically just a Lightning Bolt, because Casey doesn't gain 3 life.
Also, it means that you're getting, like, 3 mana ramp. Ish.
Ish. You also, have to 2-for-1 yourself, effectively.
Oh, goodness. Treasure Cruise is your no ban list deck. Nice for SCG Con. I was playing Affinity.
I was playing Elves.
With the hottest tech of Furnace Dragon out of the sideboard. For the mirror match.
I'm telling you, man, Elves every day of the week.
Elves was real good, too.
Snapcaster and Search.
I don't know, ban list was pretty fun while it lasted. Passing it back.
And does Roger fire with the Secure here? No, he's going to wait. Interesting to wait here.
I think at this point, because Roger might just be waiting for Casey to... I don't know. Because, like, it's going to get countered. You can't think that it won't.
Yeah.
Burning Infect is pretty good. Oh, man, did you hear Todd's prediction on the most recent Ponder podcast? He called... One of the questions was the 2 cards that you unban in any format. His hit was Blazing Shoal.
Who would you ever unban Blazing Shoal?
Yeah, he gave a reasonable argument. Not one that I entirely agree with, but a reasonable argument. So we're going to go ahead and fire off this logic now.
That's... Okay, well, it looks like Roger won that battle.
Search for Wisconsin is a high priority card.
Yeah, and now he's going to slam the Teferi.
If you want to hear his arguments, you'll have to check out the Ponder podcast. Tapped out, we resolve it to Teferi.
That's where you want it.
Living the dream.
That is where you want it. Now he's attacking multiple axes.
Did I accidentally marry Coleman?
In which case, I feel sorry for you.
That's funny.
You accidentally married me.
So we're going to untap. We've got 5 mana available, and being the first Teferi on the battlefield, it could very well be a game changer.
That's very true. Personal Howling Mine plus untapping 2 lands.
Mm-hmm.
No Search for his contest here. Casey can't really compete with his card advantage.
I can't believe that I got into a podcast with people who are okay with pineapple and pizza. Field of Ruin takes it down.
You mean correct people?
Right?
100% correct people.
I'm fine as long as it hasn't been sitting for more than 15 minutes.
Then you should not eat the pizza out there.
Is there pineapple in it?
Yes.
Why do they... Oh goodness. If you want pineapple on pizza, just buy a pineapple, slice it up, and then eat it alongside your pizza. That's delicious.
Just put it on the pizza.
But it deteriorates the cheese. We've got Magic to watch.
Whatever.
It eats the cheese for you. I don't need that.
But then you get cheesy pineapple. Like, there is no bad option here.
It's a great combo as long as it has not been sitting. So, Teferi online. Fun fact here. You do have to target 2 tapped lands, which means that occasionally, it's only online. In paper, there's like weird shortcuts, but I have seen someone have to untap their opponent's lands because they didn't actually end up tapping any of theirs.
So we see here, Roger's putting Casey to the test. Do you have interaction for this Teferi? Because if this, the Teferi emblem is actually just win the game.
Pretty much.
Like,
yes, because they're both drawing a lot of cards, and just inevitably, if you have a card that says whenever I draw a card, you lose a permanent, it means that you're actually getting 2 cards for every card draw.
Yeah.
For every 1 card that they'll end up drawing.
This entire deck's built on 2-for-1s.
Yep.
So.
Snapcaster. Now, do you count through the Snapcaster, or do you counter the card that it gets?
Counter the Snapcaster.
I think I would too, if you have the option to.
Yeah. There's no reason to try to deal with 2 cards as opposed to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it called Hawaiian? Because pineapples. That's it.
I don't actually have a good answer for that.
It's just the pineapple part of it. Also, fun fact, it's not actually Hawaiian. It's made in Canada.
Huh. Because that's Canadian bacon.
Yep.
I mean, ham and Spam is really popular. Those are similar.
Either way.
Either way.
Cryptic Command going to get cast.
Trying to counter this one? Woo!
Here's a logic knot.
How can you tell?
I just like, moving my cards around.
How can you tell that it's going to be a logic knot?
I'm just psychic.
Maybe it's, hold on, is there anything else that has a delve instant speed cost?
Murderous Cut?
Become immense? But there's no creatures in the battlefield. Those both require that. Dig through time.
I was going to say, maybe we're just going to have to, disqualify Casey for playing Dig Through Time.
Bam! Leaving 1 mana up, by the way. What do you think that 1 mana might be holding on to? Is there a Dispel, maybe?
I don't think he has Dispel in game 1.
I don't think so either. Ooh, negate! For having less lands, Roger's been taking down all the counter moves.
Casey's last 3 cards are Path, Verdict.
That's exactly it. I like different food than you prove me wrong. Now I'll pass. I'm just not going to eat pineapple on pizza. That's exactly it.
Missing out.
I like subjective things that you don't.
How dare you?
Convince me otherwise. Oh no, and untapping with the Teferi, both players back on resources. This is exactly where Roger wanted to be.
Yeah, I think Casey, at this point, he may not lose immediately, but the writing's on the wall. I don't think he can come back from this pure card advantage.
No, this is like a unfortunate situation to be, and Roger being the proactive player earlier, that's not exactly how I expected this to go.
No.
It was really just, there was the one turn in which Roger managed to make Casey use exclusively expensive counterspells for that Search for Azcanta.
That's the problem with Cryptic Command. It's incredibly powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But as we see here, Casey's also seen I'm not going to be able to beat this. I need to save my time.
And that's exactly the consideration. We saw earlier a lot of these control mirrors. There's a lot of Jeskai decks out there.
Yeah.
Draws are going to be relevant. You don't want them. Just go for the games too, and especially because I think Casey feels like they have a positive matchup post-board with that access to the Keranos.
Also with Vendilion Click.
Vendilion Click, also a 2 in the sideboard of Roger.
Yeah, Vendilion Click, Elspeth, Spellqueller.
Mm-hmm.
Only 1 Dispel, that's interesting.
Why aren't people tapping and untapping their lands on paper? A useless shortcut is unnecessary, I suppose. Yeah, I think it was basically both players. Well, Casey identified that the Search for Azcanta was worth fighting over.
Yes, because it most assuredly is.
It was, but the problem is that in doing so, Roger was able to untap and play a Teferi.
Yeah.
Roger had access to some information that Casey didn't.
I believe the long and short of that is pick your battles and know you can win them.
Yep. Why is it necessary when you have mana in your mana pool? Because it goes away.
Yeah, there's no mana burn anymore.
No.
So you don't have to worry about that.
And if you're not casting a spell.
So, from the sideboard, I can already figure out what I think Casey's going to bring in. The question is, what is Roger going to
bring? Are you talking about Teferi? Because by the end step, all the mana that... it's at the beginning of the end step, you could float one, but then in the end step, it just goes away. It might be relevant.
Well, you can go tap 2, untap them, tap 2 and play a spell.
Sure.
So, maybe?
It's occasionally... I've seen it be relevant before.
I mean, yeah.
Should they be doing it? Sure, but I guess they're just taking a shortcut.
Yeah.
Shortcuts are fun.
So, I have to imagine Casey's going to board in the Keranos, the V-Click, the Dispel, the Spellquellers, and the Elspeth? I think everything else is a little bit rough.
There's a Geist of St. Traft. So it's like Geist of St. Traft and Keranos is sort of the analog there for me. And
also, I'd say Spellqueller. Casey's got Spellqueller where
good
Roger
point.
doesn't.
But there is another copy of Negate. Also, we've got 2 copies of Dispel. Also, we've got Elsbeth, and we've got 2
V-Clicks.
And 2 of the Vendilion Click.
It's really interesting.
I know. It's going to be Spellquellers and V-Clicks and Geist of St. Traft. That's going to be sort of where it ends up.
Casey only has 1 verdict where Roger has 2.
Mm-hmm. They both have cards. They're going to be citing them out, I imagine.
That's the thing. For Roger, I might actually keep 1 in. Mostly because I think you have worse cards.
Because you have worse cards than
Because I think
Supreme Verdict?
Electrolyze is worse.
Electrolyze lets you take down opposing Snapcasters and be proactive. Like, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a cantrip, I would say it was bad.
No, you can be way more efficient with your cards.
That's a good point.
Like, Electrolyze, and I might even board out Bolts.
Really?
Well, Bolt doesn't kill Colonnade.
Bolt doesn't kill Colonnade. I mean, I have not played the Jeskai Control Mirror, so boarding out the Bolts might be an interesting play, but eliminating the Bolt Snap Bolt line strikes me as unusual.
Post-board, I think Bolt Snap Bolt gets a lot worse. Because you're going to have both players with access to Dispels.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bolt Snap Bolt's going to be a lot worse.
Interesting. But is that really so much worse than a Supreme Verdict?
I would definitely board out one, and I would consider boarding out the other ones. I guess Helix is worse than Bolt.
Fair. That one makes a lot of sense, because that's a lot more of that inefficiency.
Yeah, so Helix, that's the same functional thing, though. So
I gotta say, I'm surprised. So you would take out, is it just because Path to Exile hits Colonnade?
yeah, that's the only reason why I would keep Path.
Interesting. Okay. So it's going to be a Colonnade here from Casey, back off to Roger, who took game one, so is going to be on the draw.
Both players with Colonnades.
Time's going to be a factor here. Casey, the entire game is sort of...
Casey doesn't have a turn 2 as contact. That'd be a very good time to land it.
Turn 2 on the Playhouse Conto is insane.
Yeah, no, that's where you want it every day of the week.
It's actually one of the reasons why we see Harry, another one of these Jeskai Control players. He's got a one of Spell Snare in his main deck.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that is just a consideration for how powerful some of these 2-drops are right now when you're on the draw.
Dark Confidant, Cranial Plating, anything in Affinity, basically.
I mean, yes, for Affinity, it's Arcbound Ravager, Steel Overseer, or Cranial Plating.
You can even take down why am I not thinking of Vault Scourge?
Can take down a Vault Scourge if it's needed.
Yeah,
that's true.
If you need it, like
Chalice on 2, pretty good against Affinity.
Yeah, not bad. Certainly not bad.
So we're gonna grab a tapped land. So far, these players both very much in kind of the build-up phase. There's a Field of Ruin in hand, which is going to eliminate the opposing Colonnade. Whoops. Gain 10 life on me, Roger. So
my bad.
Serum Visions fires it down. I think that was a Dispel.
It looks like Roger's actually got the Helixes still in.
Interesting. I mean, to be fair, that doesn't mean that all 3 Helixes are still in.
That's true.
And when there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards coming in your line, you're already taking out 2 of the Electrolyze, maybe 3 Helixes. Maybe it was the 2 Supreme
He's
Verdicts.
still got Bolts, too.
Bam!
All right. Be interested to see what he took out, then.
It might be that Roger made the consideration based on last game. I was the aggressive player. If my opponent is going to be sideboarding into the control match, maybe I just...
And it might also be a consideration of time.
Right.
So, like, we have to get this game over with, so that's why I'm going to keep these cards in.
That seems more of a consideration for Casey than Roger, though.
Yeah, but I mean, if he, like, somehow loses this game, he's got to figure out a way to get game 3.
Definitely true.
So...
Definitely true. No Elsbeth for you, huh? Bold.
Well, it is 6 mana.
I suppose. It just feels so good, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't get answered by anything except Cryptic, basically, to bounce it.
Yeah, no D-spheres in the list. So.
I would be pretty tempted to bring in an Elspeth.
Well, this is Snapcaster. I'm just going to try to get some velocity
And I'd definitely be interested in bringing in the Geist.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely board in the Geist.
So, down to 14. Things a little bit different than we saw in the last match.
Yeah, I think Casey might be... Well, he's not actually gaining cards. He's just turning them into different cards.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's his other Electrolyze.
Alchemy is a pretty good ability.
Well, both players not playing Forbidden Alchemy. That's the closest they're going to get.
Oh, man, that card is medium. So,
Card's great.
It's pretty solid. Yeah.
I'm going to see probably Casey fire off another Electrolyze here at the end of Roger's turn.
Mm-hmm.
For want of a think twice.
We do have Cryptic Command as well as Secure the Wastes in hand.
Oh!
Do you,
all right.
Do you go Secure for 3?
Yeah, just do it.
Secure for 5, Cryptic.
Yeah.
But now Roger's only got the 2 mana available. Maybe a negate in hand.
It looked like he drew an Emrakul. I know he didn't, but it looked like it was an Emrakul.
Ooh, that'd be some spice.
Looks like Casey actually still has his verdict too.
This game's going to go real long, so I'll just side in an Emrakul.
Yeah, obviously.
I'll end up with 15 lands.
I'll discard it so I never deck.
Ooh, good point. That'd be kind of 2 win conditions in 1.
Yeah. And looks like Casey's the one to resolve the Teferi first.
Ooh, unless there's a negate here.
Well, don't worry, Casey's got backup.
Logic not in response.
Yep.
Now it's a Snapcaster and a Teferi on one side of the board, but tapped out.
Yep.
Now it's got to be real. Roger's got to capitalize on this turn hugely.
And I don't think he can. He's got Secure.
You could main phase Secure and get 5 1/1s.
But, like, Casey still has... Casey's going to be able to untap 2 lands.
With Logic
Knot. And he also still has that verdict.
Yep.
So...
I think this might be Casey's game.
This is looking really strong.
Like, it might be a little bit early to say
we're just going to turn the Colonnades. Yeah, I like this.
It's probably the safest play. Especially if a Lightning Bolt to try and
Yeah,
pressure.
there's the Bolt. But this is going to be Logic Knot for 2.
Woo.
Yeah, there we go.
Good thing remembered that Celestial Colonnade can tap.
Yes.
I have seen that before.
Yeah, counter unless you pay 1. Oh,
Doop.
it has Vigilance.
It's still a land. It says so right in the text.
Yeah.
Untapping here with a Snapcaster, so Roger's going to functionally be at 8. Also, we have Teferi. That's pretty good.
So we're going to draw Spellqueller.
Ooh. Spellqueller is really solid here.
It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm a fan.
I love Spellqueller.
I do too. I just think that Spellqueller is one of those cards that I can't get enough of because it just screams value.
The fact that you can, like, snipe a verdict with it is just incredible.
And counter any spell, really.
You exile any spell, yeah?
Even better. Take down their Abrupt Decays.
Oh, I've unsubstantiated Abrupt Decays before. Spellqueller's better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's much better.
All right, we've got an Electrolyze firing off here. Have we got something to do in response? I think
This looks to be Cryptic Command.
I think we're trying to draw one out here.
Gonna go after the I have to imagine this Field of Ruin on Casey's side is eventually gonna go after the Colonnade.
Probably.
Alright, 6. Maybe Casey boarded out all of his bolts.
It's looking pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Looks like we were saying similar things just about the wrong player.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, it's a similar consideration. They're on exceedingly similar deck lists. We talked about it a little bit. And Casey, maybe just, I have Kyrnos in my deck. I assume the long game benefits me more. I don't need these lightning bolts because I have a Kyrnos. That's a lot of bolts.
That is a lot of bolts.
So Teferi is going to keep on ticking up. We do have the Snapcaster. Roger down to 6. This is a rough spot to be in. It's not the end-all, be-all, but...
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's 12 to 6, and it's just from a pressure perspective, what are you supposed to do against this?
Well, he's going to go down to 4 is what he's going to do.
Right, and like, how does that feel good in any situation?
So, I mean, neither player has access to Sphinx's Revelation. So,
I don't believe so.
That's not an out he has.
I did check that just
yeah.
as you really did that.
And now we're going to secure for 3.
Ooh, looking to take down the Teferi.
It's not going to work because Casey has about every counterspell you can want.
Well, left up 4 mana.
This is kind of the issue with Cryptic Command
You gotta
in these matchups.
I have seen Cryptic Commands come out in these matchups as well. It's hard to take them out in this matchup, though, when you know
that's a good one.
Oh, because the CMC is 4.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
that's brutal.
Yeah. CMC 4 on the stack.
Oh, no.
And how do you want to recounter this Cryptic Command?
So that being
Is it going to
said,
be Negate or maybe Snapcaster?
with Teferi being the new hotness in this matchup, I'm not certain how much I can side out Cryptic Command anymore, since it's one of the few ways to deal with a resolved one.
I actually really like D-Sphere in these sideboards.
Oh, I like D-Sphere a lot.
So
Not neither of these. It wasn't our other sideboards for a lot of the Jeskai decks. I mean, we've got 7 of them, so...
yeah, that's true. But if you want to side out Cryptic Command, just board in D-Sphere.
Hey, question. Do I get to say that that burn is at the top table since Jeskai is just glorified burn?
No.
Dang it.
You cannot be a burn deck if you're playing Cryptic Command.
I think that's less true than it used to be as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jeskai Control used to be a glorified burn deck.
Now it actually is a control deck.
Yes. And I think that's largely Teferi and the Secure the Wastes kind of just take on them. The Secure the Waste is such an interesting addition to the deck that is so universal when it used to be kind of a niche thing.
Yeah, I remember playing with Secure the Waste and thought it was really good.
Yeah, but it was just it was always niche. It was never like super common.
Yeah.
And it's only been all the lists that I've seen in the last 2 weeks super common beyond Secure the Wastes.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Seeing stuff evolve right before your eyes.
Having a garbage ton of 1/1s turns out it's not bad.
Yeah. The Colonnade activation. I imagine Casey's just going to field a Rona.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's what Roger agrees. So, game 3.
Woo! I think we're actually doing okay on time in the round, too.
That was all at the end step. Roger was looking to make some tokens to maybe take down the Teferi. Casey just said, how about...
Nah.
No.
Nah.
So we see that untap with Teferi. That was what the issue was all about. Looks like he supported out all of his helixes. And also did not bring in the wear and tear where Roger actually did. I think Roger is pretty scared of search for his concept, which is totally understandable.
Also D-Sphere.
True. I mean, just talking about D-Sphere.
Right, which they don't have in these, but you also don't know that. Right? I know. My entire language has just evolved to be like...
Yeah. No, I'm still pretty bad off camera.
But you're great on camera. All the time, Coleman.
I'm trying to get better. So.
The continuation of you're great and everything that you do is great.
So Rocker, that's not true at all. Being able to be on the play and the first one to act on your opponent's end step and then play something is much more important than an extra card. Also, because you do not have access to Force of Will, the extra card does not matter.
I honestly don't know at this point. It's enough in the past, and I would need to actually look at it exactly to see how things happened.
Yeah, no, it's... Choosing to draw in control mirrors is the exception rather than the rule.
The only deck that I find that taking the draw is decent in some limited and 8-rack.
I take the draw a lot in sealed.
So limited?
So limited, yeah.
Okay.
Most sealed, I'll put it that way. So
you take the draw often in sealed.
Often in sealed.
Okay. Interesting. Usually I'm piecing together an aggressive deck, so I usually don't.
Oh, I'm never aggressive in sealed.
It's so much fun, though, to lose.
Stole the words right out of my mouth.
So it's going to be a Fed shock, and we are going to kick things off right for Casey. Doing the Bolton for Roger, who put down a tapped Celestial Colonnade.
This is probably going to just be fire off Serum Visions, get some card selection going. Why do I draw in sealed? Because sealed is often very slow. And that extra card does matter.
Yep.
So,
when the inherent card quality is lower,
you need the extra card
because you're usually you're not tailoring a deck like you would with draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least that's your mentality towards it.
That is my mentality. I want the extra card because then I have more resources.
Bam. So we're gonna go ahead
There's a search.
And tapped out on Casey's side. This is actually massive.
Search is going to be a very good card. I don't know if he's going to... I don't know if Roger's going to flip it very quickly, considering Field Ruin exists.
I think that is sort of the decision. That's a great point, because right now when both of these players are now just trying to have the most efficient draws, the most efficient things, and eventually go for it, Roger gets 2 shots at every card.
Yeah, no, it's...
It's like a crux thumb for your draws. Close to it.
It's good enough.
It's close to it. Like, obviously,
I've called it a Howling Mine before, and it's probably a little bit better than that.
In Snapcaster decks, it very much can be a Howling Mine.
And it looks like Casey also has a Colonnade.
So taking a look at the top card here.
Bolt gonna hit the graveyard.
Yep. I see a lot of people go draw step Vendilion clicks when I wouldn't.
Oh, you do it on the end step. That's how I do it most of the time.
Exactly. I think people get enamored with the idea of the draw step Vendilion click.
Like, it's fine.
It's like the draw step Cold Guns command. If they're empty-handed, both of those plays are great.
Yeah. And Casey now has Spell Queller available, so if Roger tries to do anything, I imagine Casey's just going to say no.
I don't think we even actually used the Search for Escanta. I guess we know about the Serum Vision, so it's like,
Yeah.
I know the card, but not even like bluffing it. Maybe I'll put this on the bottom now that I know what you're up to.
No, there's no reason to.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a click.
At the end step, right when I like to see a Vendilion click.
Well, especially in control mirrors.
Especially with a Lightning Bolt up.
Yeah. Control mirrors most assuredly.
Spell Queller, Lightning Bolt the Spell Queller, then get the Vendilion click. Take
So
it with the
I don't
Kyrus.
know if I'd put Roger on having a bolt in hand, mostly because he put a bolt in the graveyard from the search.
Oh, I thought he had one earlier.
No.
I could have sworn that I saw one. My bad. I thought I saw one in hand.
Like,
I think you're right. I don't see a blue card.
I would be
Or a red
much.
card.
I would be much more on the dispel, which he actually does have.
Yeah. So was trying to play around that one, and that's actually part of the beauty of Spell Queller.
Yeah, you
is
can't
that
dispel it.
When you keep bringing in negates and dispels, bam, live the dream. Counter it. I dare you.
Turns out you cannot dispel a spell queller.
Odd.
Yeah.
Second Vendilion click.
Well,
Main
two-
phase too.
2 is better than 1.
This is actually a really cool main phase V click.
I was gonna say, it's kind of interesting that like there's this fringe line. Man,
I know. I saw Supreme Verdict.
there's
saw
a Keranos in that
a
hand.
Keranos.
And I think that's what. Yep, you're gonna take the Keranos. You can tell from that fringe. Yep.
Cryptic Command and an Elspeth. Wow!
And a path.
But only 4 lands.
5th land. Oh, it's a path. 5th land. Nope. Cryptic command.
This is round 6 of 7 before the cut to top 8.
Yeah, Roger gonna fall to 13. That's the thing about Spell Queller. It's a 2/3, but it hits pretty hard.
It's a lot harder than a negate.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that first game that Roger kind of, seized control of the game
Ha!
with just random attackers, and that's what I think Casey's trying to do. He's, lacking on lands, but he's not lacking in action.
Yep, it's going to be a Serum Visions almost certainly early on. Why even bother untapping it? I know it's going to turn sideways. Spell Queller.
It's not called the red zone because you don't attack.
That makes sense.
Yep,
Is that what you plan to say?
that is what I plan to say.
Okay.
100%. 100% what I planned.
Nice. I've never heard that before.
Well, you know what they say, not all apples are red.
You're close.
Oh, I can't remember a lot of that,
That's
honestly.
okay. It's that a juicy red apple is nice, but not every apple is red.
Ah,
Yeah. My favorite bit of logic that I can't make any sense of.
so it's interesting here that Roger's going for a Field of Ruin because he knows that Casey has at least one cryptic.
Mm-hmm. So giving the mana back?
Giving him the 4th untapped land.
He did play. He just
I
did
scrubbed
badly.
out already.
I mean, you did great.
I did one.
You inspired your opponents to
Yeah.
greatness.
There were some vantages going on that were definitely inspiring. Won that match though.
Oh, naturally.
I beat Burn. Although Rampaging Frostodon, man, that card's really annoying.
Rampaging Frostodon is pretty good. So we are going to transform it. It's time to go up to 6 mana against the 5 mana there. 7 mana. Woo!
So yeah, Roger's just not going to do anything. I think if he had a Teferi in hand, he probably wouldn't have tried to go for the Field of Ruin
Because the Cryptic.
because of the Cryptic. But then Casey's going to fire it off now. Bounce the Azcanta.
End step Cryptic.
I actually really like the aggressiveness.
What
there.
a fight!
I really like the aggressiveness. Because Casey's like, okay, I've got a sort of tempo plan going on right now.
Yeah.
And the way I lose this is if Roger draws ways to interact with my cards, and his concept's very, very good.
Do you go for the Elspeth now?
I think you wait a turn.
Why?
Because you can do the same mode you did last turn.
True.
You can go Cryptic and try to,
Fire it off again?
yeah.
Now Azcanta is firing off, not going for it in this case.
I think it's mostly because Casey will be tapped out on Roger's turn.
Yep.
So this way you can say, okay, I'm going to do stuff on your end step.
Right.
I'll still have stuff,
Miss? No.
cards
Took
available.
Secure the Wastes. Which is a good get.
Oh, it's great.
It's a fine get. It's just a pass back. Might
So
as well.
it's probably just going to be bouncy as Kant again. Oh, it doesn't matter.
And Dispel takes it down once more. So
Crit takes an incredibly powerful card, but it does cost 4 mana.
Dispel doesn't, though.
It does not. It costs 1.
I'm super proud of us, right, by the way. I know that this is going to get a little bit meta, which somewhat lessens it, but I'm so proud of us that on neither of those occasions did one of us say, which spell?
Oh, you
Dispel.
mean Dat spell?
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of us.
It's taken a long time to get that out of my system.
Man. It's a classic.
So draw step, the Snapcaster is going to target the bolt, and the bolt's going to go after the spell caller?
There's an argument that it's a classic, but there's also a reason why people don't build Model Ts anymore.
I would have gone with, a Malibu,
Sure.
but
There's a reason.
but they still make Malibus, so
That's
that one falls apart. Man, this is really interesting. I think Casey wants to figure out if he can leverage this Supreme Verdict, but if he does, because I imagine this is all revolving around the Spell Queller.
Oh, this is a Spell Queller fight all day.
Yeah.
Every day. Would you Lightning Bolt this Spell Queller? Yes.
Oh, the Snapcaster is on the stack.
I would like to.
So
Are you ready to...
there's Negate.
Jeez, the amount of counter magic on this side, I think that's the end of the counter magic. I think it's 2 paths, a Supreme Verdict, and an Elsbeth. This might be the point in time in which Casey starts to fall behind.
So that's true. We're going to see a bolt on the Spell Queller, which means the Vendilion Click hits the battlefield. You have to take the Verdict, otherwise you lose both those creatures.
Or the Elsbeth.
Oh, we are going to take the Elspeth.
Well, because if Casey takes the time to fire down a Cryptic Command, then you just fire off a giant Secure the Wastes. Like, it's sort of forcing the issue, right? Like,
So Casey does know about the Secure.
there's also 2 paths in hand, so I guess creatures are not the way out.
Individual creatures.
You
are not
probably
the
don't
way out.
activate the Colonnade in that case.
Oh, you're never activating Colonnade. That's way too much mana.
Path on one of them. Oh, would you fight that fight?
No. Not worth it.
Not when there's another one in hand?
Not when there's another one.
You're going to get your 2 damage in. This is close to a turning point. Again, there are draws that are going to make this happen, but Roger is in a very solid position right now. And sort of knowing that there's not another... Like, you kind of have to hope/assume that the Vendilion Click is going to give them a land, because that's the most common thing, and that the average card will be a land. Or the most common
Yeah.
So you kind of have to assume that it's not.
And if this a counterspell?
And if you think
An
you're the
Electrolyze.
only player with a counterspell like this Cryptic Command, then that gives you a pretty big confidence boost as far as going into these interactions.
Yes, this is interesting. I'm wondering if Roger's going to try to fire off this Secure right here, or maybe wait, maybe 2 more turns.
Nah, you've got Azcanta.
Yeah, so clearly we're going to wait.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of Azcanta, how
Wow.
can you search for something you already found?
Oh, goodness.
Where is it? It's right here.
I mean, I've looked for my sunglasses on more than one occasion. I've turned on my cell phone. I've texted someone that I lost my phone.
Oh, I have too, but... So there's the Dispel.
I gotta look for it, dude. It's right there in your mana pool. Oh.
Where's my phone? Dude, you're texting me.
Oh, a Dispel actually for Casey. Dispel's not bad. We
Yep,
saw how
there's-
effective it... Nice.
It's the 3rd path.
Classic.
And there's a Serum Visions. And yeah, Casey came prepared to fight the creature plan that Roger is just not on.
No. It'd just be heartbreak to see...
Helix it in the graveyard.
Helix... I mean, we were talking about how that's just not a super efficient card.
No, not at all.
And it's going to be another Serum Visions. There's another Snapcaster in hand.
There's Wear and Tear.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
And there's Teferi, and unfortunately for Casey, he does not actually have an answer to that. Has an answer to the secure, but a draw and this is
So we've got Teferi and Azcanta now working together. Azcanta itself now gets to untapped.
I think Roger might have stolen this game.
I think Roger's got clearance.
Well, he definitely has vector.
At this point, are you prepared to just put it to just activate auto?
Just F8.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. This game is so close. And it's not even that there's any pressure. Casey's still at 15. But the power of having a Teferi and a Search for Azcanta as your main things against a Dispel, a Supreme Verdict, and Path to Exiles is just rough. Are they posted online anywhere? They are not, unfortunately.
I mean, there's something to be said about raw power level in cards, but
Sure.
there's also something to be said about quantity over quality.
And when you get to fire off this Azcanta every single turn, I'll
Yeah.
miss.
I mean,
Woo!
on the one hand, that's good for you, but on the other hand, I mean, your opponent just missed, and they're still drawing a billion cards a turn.
Again, another card that doesn't get hit by Dispel, that doesn't get hit by Path
Yeah.
to Exile, that doesn't get hit by Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, this is,
Like, it's game 3, so you have to stay and fight it out. But what do you even go for at this point? We don't have to
I think if I was in Casey's seat, if this Snapcaster doesn't do anything, I would probably just scoop it up.
I just don't think there's actually a whole lot to be done, because even the Snapcaster doing something, what are you going to do? Snap Cryptic and try and counter it and bounce the Teferi? I think that's actually the line, and hope that Roger doesn't have anything.
And, I mean, good news for Casey is he doesn't actually have anything.
Roger?
Yeah, he's gonna
There's
go
a
for
Cryptic.
Cryptic bounce, but Casey still got the Dispel.
True, that 1-mana play.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Logic Knot. Do you think... Oh, is there another... Not going for the Cryptic strikes me as maybe a concession to the fact that there might be another counterspell in here.
No, he doesn't.
So we lose Teferi, we lose Elsbeth. Or did... Oh, we went for a card draw. Okay. I actually expected Teferi to be the take, but...
Yeah.
When your opponent's going to be that tapped out and you can maybe untap with some counter magic is what I expected, but you also can't guarantee that you'll have the counter magic.
Also, you'll be able to get an activation of his content there anyway.
That's a good point.
So, I'm not actually sure.
Huh. Hi.
Hi.
Cool if I come in for the next round?
Yeah, you're good.
Cool.
So, an activation here.
So, we have got down to 14, 8 on Roger's side, and the game is... You know, I thought Roger had this one. Like, it's now Teferi versus Snapcaster, but there's a Cryptic command up.
There's also...
If you're at the point of activating Colonnades, do you feel confident?
No.
Bounce a Colonnade and draw a card?
Like, I mean, Roger's able to use this Colonnade to go tap and bounce. Not even tap and draw. Like, he feels comfortable with the cards in his hand.
I mean, when you've got Azcanta and Search for Azcanta, your
Yeah.
card quality is going to be just fine. Drawing a random card off the top is probably not the most necessary thing in the world. Teferi is going to remain up there at 6. We're going to keep that card because we like it. Field of Ruin comes down.
I think that's another Cryptic.
Colonnade is now a bust.
Oof.
And this is going to be...
Helix on the Snapcaster.
Why not? Had he played the Scalding Tarn for the turn?
I actually can't remember.
I also cannot remember.
So, I'm going to see a path here. Roger is at 6. So,
I also cannot remember. So many of their turn passing has been without like actually being able to notice anything too.
yeah. Decline to search.
That's unfortunate. Uh-oh.
Is this just going to be fire up the Colonnade now?
Or go for more main phase Azcantas.
No, we're just going to Field of Ruin.
I mean, when you've got the Teferi plus.
Also, when your opponent just went Path to Exile, decline to search.
Right.
So it's actually just 2 mana. Search for a land, strip mine you. So he does have to shuffle.
That's true. If there have been any scries,
Yep.
anything like that, the knowledge is going to remain unknown. So now it is Teferi up against this. Oh man, what can Casey do at this point? It's back kind of where Roger started to almost lose control. Back at it now. It's been nothing but lands, and I think it's just too late for this Vendilion Click.
Yeah, I mean, Click is a fantastic card.
It's a
but-
great card. I'm a big fan, but we're about to secure the wastes, maybe?
No,
Nope.
there's no reason to. This Teferi's going to emblem in 2 turns.
True. Fire down the... So it's going to be an end-step V-click and hope for the best?
I suppose, but
You still have the colony that can block it, though.
I don't even know if you care about it, honestly.
Hey, if you're intent to ult a Teferi, maybe? I
Yeah.
don't know.
So here's an activation of his Conte. We're going to find... It's going to be Electrolyze or Lightning.
I like that we're at the point to where I'm fine with main phasing Oscanta because then I get to untap it and get more activations out of this.
Yeah. So do you
Ooh.
let the Click resolve and then kill it? Or do you just say...
You can electrolyze it.
Yeah,
You
I
can
like this.
Logic knot it.
I like going for the Electrolyze. It turns that card into an actual removal spell when it most of the time is just 3 mana cycle.
3 mana cycle, and now you're at 11.
Yep.
That's true.
I was in the tournament earlier. I was on Collected Company. I did not do well, obviously.
Oh, hold on. I think we're getting an interaction here. I imagine that Casey might be checking to see if Path to Exiling.
Will not actually do anything because there are 2 targets on Electrolyze.
And I think that is exactly what the verification is.
Yeah.
I think the check is, if I eliminate this one, can I just stop the card draw? But because, like you said, pointing one of those triggers up towards the face as well as at the creature, 2 valid targets as the rules are currently written,
Yep.
it would require all targets becoming illegal targets
Correct.
for the spell to not actually resolve.
It's the same thing with Spellskite.
Mm-hmm.
If Spellskite's already the target of a spell or ability, I mean, by all means, you can pay as much life as you want into it,
Have at it.
but it won't do anything.
Yep. So I think that is going to be the purpose of this rules call, which means that we're probably not going to Path to Exile it, though maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Casey could always click himself. I don't know why you would at this point.
I think if the V-click is on the battlefield, it's probably already declared.
Yeah,
its
it's probably already targeted Roger.
Now, I would not at all be surprised. The only reason why I think that the target was Roger is because we did fire off the Electrolyze.
Yeah.
But that might also just because that way Casey doesn't draw an answer to that anyway.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I feel actually pretty confident in my Jeskai matchup, but I just drew like garbage.
The deck itself is not phenomenal against it, but Court of Calling and Collected Company are.
Yeah, no, those cards are fantastic. It helps when you draw Collected Company, which I didn't do today.
Mm-hmm.
I drew 1 in 4 rounds.
That is correct, by the way. Electrolyzes now can go 1 to the player, 1 to the Planeswalker.
Yes.
See,
But-
there's upsides as well as downsides to the rule.
Yeah, no, if you are confident in your Jeskai matchup, then by all means play Company. I actually am, so I thought it was fine. I mean, if I had drawn Collect Company in any of those games, I think I would have won. So
Hard to say.
yeah, it actually is pretty hard to say.
It's always difficult to predict the future when it's already in the past.
That's a quote. If we don't study the future, we're doomed to repeat it.
That's some Ken M stuff.
That's some Ken N right there. Well, you know why mountains get so large, right? They have no natural predators.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, of course.
Why do you think I picked up red decks? Still has a Supreme Verdict in hand. That looks unfortunate.
So does the path at this point.
Hooray! Yeah, it's just not the best spot to be in. I mean, you're probably going to end up at 13 and lose it, and then you probably go face and you, take... I don't even know what you end up taking.
You probably just get rid of the Cryptic. It's the most inherently powerful card. There's so much mana now that efficiency's not a real problem.
Yeah. But also the Cryptic is the only card that can't be cast, really.
Well, you get 2. You're going to get untapped with Teferi.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 more.
That's a
so
good
you will
point,
be able
because
to
that's
actually
still in the
cast it.
stack and it was going to be the Escanta.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So, looks like we might end up...
1 to this, 1 to you. Yep. 13, draw a card.
All right.
And now this trigger on the stack.
What if we end up just drawing something particular?
No, it was targeting Casey.
Ah, so Casey puts a Path to Exile on the bottom, and now we're going to draw a card.
Yep. It's an Elspeth.
Well, that's
If he
not
draws
bad.
a Dispel here, it looks pretty good.
That was a Snapcaster, I think.
Don't think he's got enough mana for Snap Dispel.
But No,
Yep,
one shy.
One short.
Woo.
Because Elspeth is certainly a card that can go face-to-face with Teferi.
Yes. Though not against 5 open mana, maybe not so much.
Yeah. It's an emblemed Teferi? Maybe not, but...
Because you probably just start off by hitting the Elspeth.
Yeah, you just start... Okay,
Why?
the
If you draw
Elspeth
3
is
cards
gone.
of cards, you can keep taking the 1/1s.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Do you have something?
Yes.
Yeah, just go for the Logic Knot.
Well, there's also a negate in hand.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it's...
Oh, so Snap Dispel wouldn't have mattered.
Snap Dispel would not have been able to get it anyway. All right, Teferi. You ready to win this game? What was it? Rich Hagon or someone said something. Maybe Riley Knight. Proving once again that heroes never die or something like that.
Heroes never die. They're
Oh,
just
we
remembered
plussed the
forever.
Teferi.
Well,
And-
so he's got Negate and he's got Cryptic.
But there's now a Teferi in the graveyard. Why would you not ult the Teferi then play another Teferi?
Because why does it matter here?
Because then you have an ult Teferi ult, and you start just... They lose.
They were already going to lose. Your hand's Cryptic Command, Negate, and you also have the Secure that you're holding on to.
I suppose.
Because, like, now you can just slam Secure for 1 billion.
I guess that's true. Ah, there we go. Okay, so
Electrolyze.
I guess we're worried about that one. Draw another Electros.
Yeah, I like this.
Woo!
Just say, I'm securing for 1 billion. What are you going to do about
Oh,
it?
that poor Supreme Verdict.
Yeah.
I mean, the Supreme Verdict will probably still be okay.
Secure for 7?
So,
8?
if it's for 8, then that puts Casey down to 6, which means the 2 Bryn spells would do it.
Yeah, I think he's just got counter spells, which...
I don't think there's any more Vendilion clicks to be able to actually take down that Secure. Search for
That's very
Escanta
true.
is continuing to do good things. Do you block? You know that you're about to sweep the field. I would block.
Yeah.
Unless you can try and put your opponent down to 4 and hope that you can draw a relevant enough burn. Weird decisions to make. How different is 5 and 6 in this matchup?
Because of the presence of Colonnade, I think 5 and 6 is a big deal. Because if you're at 5 and you get hit with Colonnade, you can't activate any more fetch lands.
Okay.
But if you're at 6 and you get hit with Colonnade, you can actually activate a fetch land.
There are some fetch lands. There's at least one on the battlefield already.
So, also you can just fire off this Electrolyze, right?
Sure.
It's basically free. Roger might be... Yeah, I think he might actually counter this.
If you've got cheap cards, why not?
Also, if you have Cryptic Command,
We are in round 6 right now.
6 of 7.
Yep.
Target... Oh, I was going to say, I'm not sure where it was going after.
So,
'Cause if it's
let's...
going after the creatures, yeah, I would actually want to counter it. But if it's going after my face, probably not.
And I think the biggest motivation for that has nothing to do with keeping the warriors alive.
He does have... He has Helix, Snap, Helix. Snap, Helix.
Oh
So,
my
yeah,
goodness.
That is going to be the end of the game.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That is going to be Jeskai Control taking it down. We are going to go get ready for round 7. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break here. It's currently 6:21. Let's go ahead and
Let's
see.
just call it 6:30.
6:30, but that's such a long break.
That's an extra 4 minutes.
But I don't think there's that much time on the clock.
We've still got some time. There might be some other players still in rounds.
We'll be back at 6:26. We'll see you soon. Listen to the music and we'll be back.